The Instapot is a staple in our whole food household, but is it a worthwhile investment for you? In this video, we're going to go through the pros and cons. The Instapot is great for working families and busy lifestyles. I love that it has a timer setting that I can put food in, leave it on a timer, and then it pressurizes and does its thing just in time for us to eat dinner. It's fantastic. I also love that there's a versatility in how quick it cooks, so that if I only have a half an hour at home, I can make sure the meal is made and ready to go, and I'm not waiting on that 3-hour cook time that an oven might present for something like a roast. If you're off-grid, living with limited electricity, or trying to conserve, the Instapot is definitely an electricity hog. It uses less than the oven, but not by much, and because you're only using one pot, it's definitely not conserving electricity. One thing that definitely changed for me when I got my Instapot was the ability to hard-boil farm-fresh eggs. If you have backyard chickens, you probably know what I'm talking about. The first time I hard-boiled fresh eggs from the coop, I was so disappointed because all of the shells stuck and I could not get them off. I learned other cooking methods, but they all took a ton of time. And then somebody told me that the Instapot actually steams the eggs well enough that you can peel them right after. And it works, I promise. We harvest our eggs fresh from the coop every morning, and by lunchtime we have hard-boiled eggs that peel easily in 2 minutes with the Instapot. Another thing I love to use the Instapot for are baked potatoes. When I'm looking for a lunch idea that's quick and I know my husband will be home soon, I can throw some sweet potatoes or russet potatoes in the Instapot, and in 5 minutes I have a meal. My favorite Instapot recipe is definitely the pot roast, an all-American recipe in half the time using the Instapot versus your crock pot or stove. If you really like making pot roast, you should check out my recipe. We linked our video in the comment section below. The best time saver and my favorite use is definitely bone broth. It's so nice to throw my kitchen scraps and some bones in the Instapot, fill it with water and a little salt, and come back to nourishing broth. It's so simple, 2 hours. And you can simmer the same thing over and over again. I forgot to mention that fact in our bone broth video, but if you have the time and you're interested, check out our link here or in the comment section below. Overall, I think the Instapot's a great investment. Considering the price of most modern appliances, it's very inexpensive, so versatile. You can do anything from rice, oats, pot roast, eggs like I mentioned before, so many different meals. If you're a minimalist or somebody trying to keep your appliances and kitchen gadgets to a minimum, especially I'm thinking of somebody living out of a van or a mobile home, I would definitely recommend it instead of a stove or an oven. It saves so much more space, and you can do almost the same exact thing that you could do in an oven in an Instapot. The downside is you don't have as much cooking space, but the plus side is you don't have a whole oven that you have to try to fit in a van. So the one thing I don't really care for about the Instapot is the fact that it is hard to clean. Not necessarily the inside lining, but I kept mine dirty just to show you. And because I haven't had time to clean it yet. So you have this inner lining here, and you have to scrub it with like a steel wool sometimes to get it nice and clean. But then also there's this groove that catches food, and I don't really understand why the food gets up here, but the food gets up here. And you have to somehow get a rag in there or a cleaner because this part does not remove. So if Instapot is watching, one thing I'd recommend is making this somehow removable so that it's easier to clean that groove. And I did find a few techniques to get my Instapot looking brand new again. And if you'd like to see a video about that, let us know in the comment section below. But that is my one gripe with it, is it does take quite a bit more time to clean than if you were just using a Dutch oven in your stove or oven. So one other thing that's not necessarily negative but an inconvenience is the fact that when your Instapot is being used, because it's just one pot, you can't use it to cook something else at the same time. Makes sense. But in reality, when you have a pot roast going or a big pot of curry simmering in the Instapot, and you want to cook rice, cooking it on the stovetop is just not the same. You want that gooey, steamed, delicious, perfectly cooked Instapot rice. And so I'd recommend for bigger homes having more than one Instapot, which does add up to your storage space and your budget. However, it would definitely come in handy to have two. Christmas is coming. And speaking of gifts, I recently gifted several Instapots to friends over Christmas. And I did find that it is a very intimidating gift to give, which I found interesting, but it reminded me of when Instapots first came out and people were talking about them, that I myself was intimidated to use them. There's a lot of buttons and a lot of functions, and it just cooks a little bit differently than what we're all used to. So before you give it as a gift, maybe think about a way that you can equip your receiver to use it more easily. Some quick recipes or some notes jotted down. Or you can link to our video that we made on using an Instapot. Did you like that plug? Did you have any questions about the Instapot that we didn't answer, or something you'd like us to cover more thoroughly? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want to support our channel, subscribe and like our video.